And first, I want to just let everyone know how incredibly pleased and grateful I am to be here on this subcommittee and to have my first subcommittee hearing with Admiral Fagan. Thank you so much for all that you and your men and women of the Coast Guard did for the Virgin Islands. I've been grateful for you even bringing me back home once or twice on some of your vessels as I was trying to make my way back home during the aftermath of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. So the people of the Virgin Islands are enormously grateful to you all for the work that you have done and continue to do on our islands. You know, when I was looking at the GAO report, one of the things that I noted was a discussion about the use of more realistic asset performance data. And they said that they reported that the Coast Guard strategic allocation of assets were based on unrealistic assumptions about the performance capacity of its assets and did not reflect asset conditions and unscheduled maintenance. Can you talk just briefly about what your assessment of that portion of the report means?
So we continually evaluate what type of performance and effect we would be able to achieve with the assets that we have assigned, and the performance measures that we use for the different asset types sometimes have served us well. There are some areas GAO has pointed out, and we're looking at how to refine those measures to best reflect how the resources are able to perform in the mission set.
Well, to me, in a best case for the Coast Guard scenario, what this appears to me to mean is that you're trying to outperform yourself on assets and with material that doesn't meet the needs of what you all would like to do, that you are pushing your people and maybe performing in a manner that outperforms antiquated or old. You know, when they talk about unscheduled maintenance and the need for cutters that were 50 years old and the cutters were hampered by mechanical failure requirements, if in fact you had the assets that you needed and were in the best case scenario in terms of your budget allocations and the budgets that we have given you, then you would be able to perform more effectively. You know, as a parent, that's what I would tell if my kid got a bad grade and they said that about me. What do you think?
So thank you. Which is why we've undertaken the significant recapitalization that we have of the Coast Guard. The legacy assets do experience increased maintenance days, and then those are days that they are not employed in against the mission set. So the quicker we're able to bring the new assets online, I'll use, for example, particularly in the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean, the fast response cutters that are being deployed into that region are being deployed for great effect against some of the threats and the mission set, and are experiencing some significant success.
But as you talk about the fast cutters that are being used, I know, in the Virgin Islands, how is that, the effectiveness of that in comparison to the use of national security cutters or offshore patrol cutters, or having a larger amount of cutters to be able to meet the needs of what you see as the national security threats in that region?
So the new modernized cutters, national security cutters, operational, the OPCs and the FRCs are incredibly capable assets that with other force packages, aircraft and small boats, increase the effect that we're able to achieve in the mission sets. They are, you know, a national security cutter, a day afloat on a national security cutter provides a much larger impact than that same day afloat on a legacy 378-foot.
Thank you. And just in closing, do you have any report on the status of the Coast Guard marine debris removal operations? I know that, you know, in the state, there's been recent Washington Post articles about the state of debris removal in the Virgin Islands, and I know a lot of that is the Army Corps of Engineers. But has the Coast Guard been deployed to assist in moving those things directly off the island and are facing regarding these activities within the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as well? Okay, thank you. I yield back.
Thank the gentlelady. Mr. Gray.